Evil girl from my middle and high school years now wants a date. There is no other way to say this. She was a bully to me in middle school, humiliated me early in high school and thankfully ignored me our senior year. She was always the popular cheerleader type, and when we were in middle school, she would verbally bully me and make fun of me and my appearance whenever she could, and would do it as the leader of a pack of she-wolves who would write fake notes to me and take photos of me and Photoshop all sorts of vile things and plaster them all over the school. When we were in the 10th grade, she catfished me. There wasn't even a word for it back then, and eventually got myself and another guy to meet one another after school, both of us thinking that there was a cute new girl in school who liked us. Needless to say, both of us were the butt of jokes for the rest of the school year. Finally, by the middle of our junior and senior years, she thankfully forgets I exist. Flash forward to the present. I'm parking my car and getting ready to go into Wendy's for lunch when I hear my name being spoken by a person directly behind me. I turn just in time to see my tormentor coming in for a hug. My first reaction was to run because of our previous dealings with one another, but she is quicker than I am. She stands there chatting in line with me like we were the best of friends and reminiscing about grand old times that never existed for me. She and I lived two very different high school experiences, I assure you. She the popular girl and I the social outcast, not even cool enough to be accepted by the nerds and hipsters. So I get my food. I was planning on eating there, but since it was apparent that her and the woman she was with were eating there, I got mine to go. I wished her well and tried to bolt out the door, all the while losing whatever appetite I had, but before I left she asked me for my number and like an idiot I gave it to her. Next day I get a call from my sister. BTW, while I love my sister, she also lived a very different life than I did in high school. In fact, I think my tormentor idolized her. She was a grade ahead of us. My sister says she got a call from Lady Voldemort wanting to know all about me, said she was asking all forms of questions about my life, what I was doing, and if I was seeing anyone. I told her that I had ran into her at Wendy's and that I am sure that this was some form of elaborate scheme of hers. My sister said I was a dumbass and that we are grown adults and that I need to see what was right in front of me. I of course responded by saying that what was in front of me was Lucifer on earth. Sure enough, my phone blows up that night with text from a strange number. It didn't take long to deduce that it was her. She started with small talk about how great it was to see me again and how wonderful I looked. Then she goes into asking me why I never asked her out in high school. I nearly flushed my phone in the toilet from that one. Now mind you, she is saying all of this on text without me replying at all. Finally I respond back with, "It was nice seeing you too." Within a minute of hitting send my phone is ringing. I guess she decided that my response was good enough to give me a ring. She asks me out for a date for this Friday night. Here is my dilemma. From an outsider's perspective she is gorgeous, I mean a solid 8 maybe 9 on a 10 scale. However, whenever I hear her speak or think about her I can't see her physical attributes. I see visions of hell on earth with her riding in some fiery chariot being drawn by black horses that snort smoke and fire. I realize that I am being overly dramatic and in my real life I am long past being socially awkward. I stare down drunks and assholes every day in my job. Did I mention that I was a police officer and when I was at Wendy's I was on the job, and generally I'm not afraid. She on the other hand makes me want to crawl under my bed and not come out. Is it possible for her to change? What the hell do I do with all of these repressed emotions that I obviously have penned up from years and years ago? She either is oblivious to what she did to me or does remember and is trying to forget. Since I told her I would go out with her, I have gotten several texts about looking forward to Friday. My heart races every single time I get a text from her, but not from the romantic butterfly in the stomach kind of way. What does the group think here? Has anyone else ever had a mortal enemy become a date? Update. I know it's early for an update, but I wasn't sure anyone would read if I put this in as an edit. After reading all of the responses to the original and several PMs I got, I have made a decision. It would not be fair to either of us for me to go into Friday night with her and ambush her with problems from my past, so I gave her a call this afternoon and invited her to a late lunch tomorrow when she gets off of work, which she was thrilled to do. I plan on talking with her then about things and we will see what happens from there about Friday night. I am either setting myself up to be the world's largest douchebag or I'm going to get burned again. Her acting all giddy every time I talk with her does make me feel like a shit for holding on to the past. I just plan on easing into the conversation and I'm going to be very specific about the catfishing thing. I know for a fact she was behind that one and that is the one that hurt the worst. I'll let you guys know what she says. Update. I arrived early enough so that I made sure to be there before her so I could pick out a secluded spot so we could talk and not be interrupted. She got there about 15 minutes after I did, right on time BTW, and she spotted me and came over to sit. She was just beaming and had a huge smile on her face from the moment that she came in the door, and it honestly made me feel like a creep who was laying in wait to ambush her. But when she started to talk, her voice just sent cold chills down my spine, because even though she was saying nice things, it was still that voice that I remembered from years ago, and that helped steel my resolve. She was saying how thrilled she was to meet with me today, and then how much she was looking forward to Friday night. At this point the waitress came to get our order, so that caused a natural pause. I decided to wait till the food came so that we would not have any further interruptions, so we just made small talk. Food comes and I take the shot. Simply put, I just asked her why she was now interested in me when all during our school years I was less than dog shit to her. Yes, I said dog shit because, well, just because. She actually teared up a little, but to her credit she didn't cry or anything at this point. She goes on to say that she knew when she did the catfishing thing that she had gone too far. She stated that she had no good reasons for doing anything other than she was very immature and very wrong. She then went on to tell me something I had no idea about. I guess the other guy who she tricked with the catfishing scheme did not take it as well as I did. She said about a month after she did that he physically attacked her on the way to her mom's car one day while she was leaving cheerleading practice. She had a fractured jaw, contused lungs, and 2 broken ribs. I knew she had missed some school, but at the time had no idea why, nor did I care. She then said that she never came to apologize to me for it because after that she was afraid and did everything in her power to avoid me for the rest of our time in school. The other guy transferred out before that school year was up. She did make what I thought was a really heartfelt apology to me. I am usually a decent judge of character, and believe me, in my line of work people lie to me all the time, so you pick up on traits, and she either is one of the best liars I've ever come across or she was genuinely sorry for doing it. We then talked about middle school, and while she admitted some of the things that happened, she let me know that some of them were not her but girls who she was hanging out with at the time. Some it made sense. The other was really irrelevant anyway because it was the catfishing thing that hurt the worst. She never tried to bolt out of the cafe, nor did she ever not look me in the eye. After a few minutes of this I decided that my honor had been satisfied and that I would change topics. What started out as lunch ended up with an entire afternoon and early evening together walking and talking. Man, has she ever had a rough time since high school. She was actually very down to earth, not at all like I imagined her being. Of course, my imagination of her before then was her speaking with a forked tongue while chanting scriptures from the Book of the Dead. The main takeaway I got about her from today is that she is genuinely interested in me. She admits that the uniform from the other day was a turn-on, but that she wants to get to know me for me. Which sounds cheesy when I read it typed out here, but when she said it I was kind of impressed. Honestly, this was a great day for me. I got closure. I got a heartfelt apology, and at the end of the day, once I got past thinking of her as the daughter of Satan, she was actually a decent person to talk to, and yes, I now see that she is wickedly hot. By the end of the evening she was all smiles again and telling me how she hasn't felt this close to someone in a long time. She actually gave me a goodnight kiss. Anyway, Friday night is on for sure. Last update. Hey gang, thought I'd give you what should amount to being the final update on this. Went out with her last night and things could not have gone better. Honestly, I had fun with her. Not the way you are thinking, by the way, sick bastards. And we stayed out way later than either of us planned. Thank God I didn't have to go to work today. This wasn't a normal date for me. Generally speaking, I tend to end up in bars and listening to crappy music all night for some woman who I really don't connect with. In many ways this was surreal because I was having the time of my life with a person who up until 48 hours ago, I had spent well over a decade either dreading/fearing or hating depending on the day of the week. We went fucking bowling and it was her idea. I haven't been bowling since I was a teenager and you could tell. She laughed at me because of how bad I sucked, but all I could do was laugh with her because she wasn't making fun of me, she was having a great time. After that we went and ate, and she demanded to pay because she said she asked me out, which is the very first time in my entire life a date has offered to pay for my meal. I was taken aback at first, but the more the night went on the more I appreciated the effort she was putting into this night. The more we talked the more we found that we had in common. I got the most passionate kiss I've ever received in my life as we said goodnight. I'll be damned if I didn't feel like I just lost my virginity again when she did that. Fuck, I can't even explain it or how it felt. I've never been kissed like that. We are going out again tonight, my idea BTW. At this point in time, I think I can close this out because I am positive of my own question now. I don't know if everybody can, but she certainly has changed and I'm looking forward to getting to know her more. Thank you everyone for their support and answers. Keep strong, late edit. I'm not going to make another post just to say this part, but Saturday's date went better than Friday's date. In fact, I'm just now home from her house and the only reason I'm home now is because I have to pull an extra shift tonight that I can't get out of. We plan on having dinner together Tuesday.